Good night. I'm going to talk about call and blended learning. First of all, when we can refer to call, we refer to call when we use the technology application and the information communication of computer in teaching and learning languages. It is principal call. I'm going to show you the history. What about call's history? This method started in the 70s and 80s. All call courses were and activities should build an intrinsic motivation and should foster interactivity. The purpose of the call activity is to stimulate students' discussion, writing, or critical thinking. The programs do not necessarily provide any language material at all, but rather empower the learner to use or understand languages. It is the principal history. Some advantages of call learning are interest and motivation, individualization, appropriate learning style, effective use of learning time, immediate feedback, error analysis. Those principles. The disadvantages are poor speaking programs, economical factors, inability to handle unexpected situations. Another advantage or disadvantage are advantage self-paced or learner-centered, focusing on the important or more difficult material during class time or tutoring sessions. Problems and successes with the learning material, working with a group of disciplined students. And the disadvantages, quite a few students feel they learn better when guided step by step through a concept. The student must be motivated and disciplined to complete a learning program on his own. A good CAL program, as with all CBE programs, is very expensive to develop. The historical phases of CAL, classified according to their underlying pedagogical and methodological approaches. The first of all is behavioristic CAL. This was conceived in the 1950s and implemented in the 1960s and 1970s. Communicative CAL was conceived in 1970s to 1980s. Integrative CAL was embracing. Multimedia and the Internet in 1990s. An example of CAL use are flashcards. When you use flashcards, such programs often make use of spaced repetition, a technique wherever the learner is presented with the vocabulary items that need to be committed to memory at increasingly longer intervals until long-term retention is achieved. So you can create your own flashcards according to the topic. When we can refer to blended learning, so I'm going to explain you what is blended learning. Blended learning is a term increasingly used to describe the way e-learning is being combined with traditional classroom methods and independent study to create a new hybrid teaching methodology. Now I'm going to show you the history of blended learning. Technology-based training emerged as an alternative to instructor-led training in the 1960s on mainframes and mini-computers. This was the first tools. The major advantage that blended learning offers is scale, whereas an instructor can only teach so many people. Advantages: learn anytime, anywhere, time savings, self-paced learning, costless for the school, learning control, collaborative learning experience. Another advantage of blended learning are the students can upload documents and images or link to content. In asynchronous communication, the students have more time for deep reflection. The student less responsive in a face-to-face context, many thrive online. Some disadvantages like technical support does not suit all learners, requires basic computer skills, requires internet access, and the students without devices can feel left out of mobile learning. Another disadvantage are if a student composes a reflection and attaches it as a Word document, peers are less likely to engage with the post. Certain groups of students may tend to dominate conversation. Moderation is required. Now, I'm going to show you some models of blended learning. The first model is face-to-face drive. In this, where the teacher drives the instruction and augments with digital tools. This refers to this. Rotation is when the students cycle through a schedule of independent online study and face-to-face classroom time. Flex, most of the curriculum is delivered via a digital platform, and teachers are available for face-to-face consultation and support. It is the most use of blended learning. Labs, all of the curriculum is delivered via a digital platform but in a consistent physical location. The students usually take traditional classes in this model as well. Self-blended, students choose to augment their traditional learning with online coursework. And the last one, online driver. The students complete an entire course through an online platform with possible teacher check-ins. All curriculum and teaching is delivered via a digital platform, and face-to-face meetings are scheduled or made available if it is necessary. It is important to note that even blended learning models can be blended together, and many implementations use some, many, or even all of these as dimensions of larger blended learning strategy. These models, for the most part, are not mutually exclusive. Now, the components of blended learning are: there is a general consensus among education innovators that blended learning has three primary components. The first of all is in-person classroom activities facilitated by a trained educator. The second one, online learning materials, often including pre-recorded lectures given by that same instructor. And the last one, or third one, structured independent study time guided by the material in the lectures and skills developed during the classroom experience. And I'm going to give you an example of blended learning use. In this, I'm going to show you an activity labeled blending in practice. We have some files in such as we can find offline and online. In offline, the instructor role is allocated reading, as students to read require reading and post summary in LMS. A student role read respective chapter. Resources in content reading, and resources service not because it's offline. Assessment, some discussion about topic in face-to-face class. In online, the instructor role is the facilitator. The student role is post on one paragraph summary and comment on two others posts. The resource content is a student and the instructor post in discussion forum. The resources service is the discussion forum, and the assessment is feedback from peers in online discussion and feedback from instructor in online discussion forum. Now, I'm going to explain you the differences between CAL and blended learning. The blended learning, speaking of blended learning, we can differentiate to CAL learning because in it the student centered on the approach to creating a learning experience wherever the learner interacts with other students, with instructor and with content through thoughtful integration of online and face-to-face environments. In CAL learning, speaking of CAL learning, we can differentiate to blended learning because in CAL embraces a wide range of information and communications, technology applications, and approaches to teaching and learning foreign languages from the traditional drill and practice program. CAL is used in a virtual learning environment and web-based distance learning. It also extends to the use of corpora and concordances interacting with boards. So this is all my presentation, and I hope that you could find some tools to work and have learned a little of this topic to teach. Thank you.